Welcome to another episode of the SportsBros podcast, featuring the Almighty B Live, the Money Man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the SportsBros. Hey, what's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy, aka the HOC, and you are listening and you are tuned in via YouTube to episode 107 of the SportsBros podcast. That's right. We done made 107 of these things, give or take away a few. But at the end of the day, you still get the SportsBros podcast, whether it be me and B Live, me and Scottie D, any kind of combination or iteration of the SportsBros podcast. Well, there I go with my incoherent rambling. So that means one thing is host introduction time. Introducing first, the Almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? That does not get old at all. 107 times. And I'm going to go ahead and get it out the way because I saw the look on the money man's face when you said any combination of me and you, Eddy, or you and Scott. Let's go ahead and mention there's been a couple episodes where it was just the money man. We're just going to get that out the way before he come on talk about welcome to the Scott Donnelly show. SportsBros. Let's just get that. I see him.
Those were the good old days. Old days.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just introduce that other guy.
Oh, boy. Here we go. And doing too much.net. Here we go. We got the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. None other than the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
This is bittersweet for me being here with you guys because I love being with you guys. I was hoping to get my name called by Roger Goodell or one of the others in the draft this past week. And it didn't happen for me again this year. So my consolation prize, no NFL, but back with you guys again. So I'm ready to talk some NFL draft.
Well, let's just say this is the greatest constellation gift that keeps on giving. Wouldn't you say so, B-Live? Don't you think so?
Absolutely. Constellation stars or consolation prize, but you know, this
consolation prize being with you guys, but it's hard to believe that once again, no NFL team wanted a middle-aged white dude with no prior experience playing football. But hey, that brings me to right here where we are today.
Well, Scottie D, as they say in life, man, it bees that way sometimes. Enough of our collective incoherent rambling. Let's talk about this thing that happened this past weekend called the NFL Draft that was live in Cleveland, Ohio on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. I didn't go because I'm allergic to the rain. I chew. Ain't nobody got time for that. So, of course, as we know, Trevor Lawrence was the overall #1 draft pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Surprise. We had Kyle Pitts go early to the Falcons. We had Mac Jones fall all the way to the Patriots. So the question I pose to you fellas, what are your thoughts and surprises and your reactions overall from the NFL draft? Be Live, you go first.
Well, as you said, everybody knew that Trevor Lawrence was going to go #1. My biggest surprise, though, and this is going to shock you just a little bit because you know, and we're going to go ahead and get it out the way from the jump, all roads lead to Dabo. And it came into full circle more than anything. Everybody knew about Trevor Lawrence. So that was an easy all roads. But Jacksonville had a second first-round pick. And that surprised the heck out of me. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because the first thought in my mind was that they're going to protect their franchise quarterback. They're going to bolster up the offensive line, and I thought that was going to be their first pick. On top of that, Jacksonville already has two very serviceable running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So why did they go back to Clemson and all roads and pick Travis Etienne? We shall see. We shall see. I'm like that shocked me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't see him going first round. I really did not. I think second round, he was going to go off the board second round without question. But for him to go first round to a team that already has two pretty decent running backs,
dumb. It was dumb, B-Live. It was dumb. Let's just call it what it is. Jacksonville in 2020 was good enough to win a single game, none of which came after week 1. That means that team needed a whole bunch of stuff. The only position they didn't need was running back. They had that was the best player on their team last year collectively was James Robinson, right? Isn't that his name?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he ran for 1,000 yards, right?
Yep, he did.
Fantasy football stud. And you pick a running back. You need everything. You won one game, and you need everything. You need linemen. You need defense. You need everything except running back, and you picked a running back. Come on.
It was like I understood the novelty of it, you know, like just the
trying to make a splash kind of thing.
The familiarity, I guess. I still think that Jacksonville could have went back in the second round and still got Etienne. I
possibly.
Yeah. So Scottie D, yeah.
Is that a case maybe of Urban Meyer trying to make a splash? I mean, I don't know that how much input he had on making being the actual one making a pick. Maybe he was like, "Hey, watch this. Hey, Dabo, look, I got 2 of your guys now." Dabo's like, "Yeah, I can't use them anymore. So go ahead." You know, maybe he's just trying to be a wise ass. I don't know. It wasn't good.
I hope that's not the case because that is really, really bad for business. Dabo just wants his players to be successful beyond college and the NFL. Doesn't matter who they go to. He just wants them to have a successful career. So that was my biggest surprise. I was like, because as soon as it happened, I was actually out and about. And I was just talking to a couple friends. I wasn't even watching the TV. Next thing you know, my phone is blowing up. Phone call, text message, Facebook message. Did you see that? I'm like, what? And then when I saw, I was like, what? How? He got drafted the first. Jack, what? Oh, okay. If he is what it is, yeah.
I didn't like that pick at all. I mean, it was splashy. It was fun in the moment it happened. Like, whoa, you know. But whatever. Like I said, when you're only good enough to win a single game, you need more than just a running back, and that was not their pressing need. I don't get that. I don't know. I tell you, last week when we were talking about who we were interested to see, we were interested to see if the Bengals were going to really screw it up. And you know, after when I went to bed Thursday night, I said they screwed it up because I kept saying Penne Sewell's there, you got to take him, and he was, and they did. And they took Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU. But they rebounded and they took your boy from Clemson, Jackson Carman, in the second round. Okay, you know, maybe I was jumping the gun on being too critical of Cincinnati, but if they're getting that guy and they still get a top target for
Joe Burrow.
Quarterback. Joe Burrow, yeah. So maybe I'm going to back off of jumping down Cincinnati's throat for that because I thought, you know, big mistake not taking Penne Sewell. But how would you like to be Penne Sewell? Imagine that. You are like the most coveted lineman in the draft. You have built up your career your entire life, and you waited for this moment. And you have a 1 in 32 chance of getting picked by Detroit, and it happens. How would you like that? How would you like that? You could have gone to any of these other teams, and you end up with Detroit and a coach whose goal is to chew the kneecaps off the other team on the way up. I mean, man, you know, you look at Penne Sewell and they're celebrating, they're happy. But are they really? I mean, is he really that happy? He's going to be protecting Goff? I don't know. Hey, congratulations, Penne Sewell.
Yeah. So if you think about it, on the outside, I was like, yes, I got a job. In his head, Detroit, man.
Yeah. Oh, really? Them? I had a 1 in 32 chance of that being a team that picked me. Doggone it.
Yep.
Yeah. At least you get picked by Jacksonville. They're a terrible team. You're going down to nice weather, and a nice team coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. So Scottie D, what about the Cowboys, man? Who did the Cowboys pick?
Well, it was certain that it was going to be Patrick Surtain, and maybe if not him, Horn, who you guys got for Carolina, and it didn't go that way. Denver undercut us. I was really disappointed when that happened. And it actually happened a couple of years ago, and it worked out because a few years ago, the Cowboys had their heart set on Paxton Lynch, and Denver jumped right on in there. And Terry Jones actually went on and said, "I lost sleep over that. I really wanted to get that guy, but it seemed like Patrick Surtain was going to be just the perfect fit for the Cowboys because they needed another good cornerback on the other side of Diggs, and then they let Chidobe Awuzie walk. But I tell you, I'm not really hating Micah Parsons getting drafted as a Cowboys linebacker, especially with we lost a Penn State linebacker last week right before the show. Sean Lee out, yep. Micah Parsons in. So the kid looked like a stud on film from a couple years ago, and can't complain about that pick. I think I actually kind of liked the way Dallas moved back and picked up an extra pick to do it because you had the Giants and the Eagles jostling over Devontae Smith. So, yeah, it was disappointing not to get Surtain, but it's hard to be upset, I think, with the guy we got. What did you guys think of that?
I think it was a pretty good move. I mean, Sean Lee retiring, what's the next best thing you got to do? You got to fill a void. I think a lot of teams this year, I think they filled voids, and some teams was like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, some of it didn't make any sense, but then again, we're not in the war rooms. We don't know what, outside of our own, respective teams, we don't really know what's going on. We really don't. But I tell you what, man, I was chomping at the bit. I was like, oh, please let us get Penne Sewell. Oh, come on, Penne Sewell. And then when Cincinnati drafted that other guy, I was like, yes, we got a chance at Penne Sewell. And here come Detroit ruining everything like they usually do. And then, like you said, they'll be over there with Dan, the kneecap biter Campbell. And overall, as far as the Panthers pick of Jaycee Horn, I'm okay with it because the almighty beat I can tell you we got destroyed in the secondary last year. We got destroyed in the secondary last year. So I say that, we addressed the need, and then we got this large human being from Alabama, like in the third or fourth round, offensive lineman from Alabama, and Sam Darnold's going to need that. He's going to need that, and then we also got a running back. What's his name? Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard.
Yep, Chuba Hubbard, and Matt Rule's wife was like, "Look, you might want to get him. You might need to make this happen." I don't know what she knows or what she says, but hey, she was like, look, you might want to get him. But I also have another interesting take on another Carolina draft pick, but we'll save that to Pepper. And be like, what you think about Carolina moving and grooving, wheeling and dealing throughout the draft? What you think about that?
I want to say this. One thing to note about the Panthers this year, they ended up with 11 picks, which is the most picks that the Panthers have ever had in a draft. So there was a lot of moving and shaking just to fill some voids, and then I think they're trying to build from within. Like once they get the draft picks in, we've got a really young defense, and just you can see the change coming. I see that it may not be this year, but very soon you're going to see a product in Carolina that we're going to be very proud of. I do have one question about my Panthers. Jaycee Horn over Patrick Surtain. That was Surtain is bigger and faster than Jaycee Horn.
I think there's differences in their coverage techniques, though. I mean, in some he might just fit their scheme better. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but right. That's what they were saying, that the Cowboys would probably going to take one of those two, whoever didn't get picked. Obviously they both went right before the selection, but it's I was reading some scouting reports saying that Surtain would be a better fit for the Cowboys while Horn might be the better player. I mean, it just could be a matter of just scheme. I mean, So I think either one, to me, it seemed like either one was a win.
So yeah, and that I can agree with. Like I think like 1A versus 1B, if you really want to rank them, I think they're both going to have very good careers. It's just me again talking good about a South Carolina player. Wow, this has got to stop. Anyway,
why didn't Horn pull out a cell phone with like the little flip phone like his dad did out of the goal? But he should have had that planned out.
Speaking of his dad, he is not happy with the draft coverage.
No, he's
not.
He
is not happy at all. I think,
and rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I think Joe Horn really doesn't like Aaron Rodgers at this point. He really doesn't like ESPN. Because because I didn't catch it at the time. I was working when Panthers made their pick, but wasn't it during commercials? So the Panthers got like no coverage.
I was watching NFL Network. I wasn't watching the 4-letter network, but it was the same thing. And it's the fact that Aaron Rodgers pretty much upstaged the draft because 5 hours before the first pick, Adam Schefter saying he's not going back to Green Bay. Why did that come out then? I mean, seriously. Let's get back to the draft in a moment here, but let's talk about this Aaron Rodgers thing for a minute. Why did that come out right then and there?
Because he's a thunder stealer, all right? If it ain't about him, he don't want nothing to do with it. I don't understand it. Every time we turn around, you know what? This reminds me of a dysfunctional ass relationship. I'm over here scratching my head like it's me in a relationship. I think rumor has it that what's the wide receiver name? Kumerow. I don't want to butcher his name. Was it Judd, Jed? Either way, Jim, Johnny, Billy, Bobby. Anyways, so he gave high praises to the Kumerow kid, only for the Kumerow kid to get released a week later. And I guess that was supposed to be the death knell to say, hey, I don't want to be here anymore.
Just the timing of it, though, is like what?
Why
did that report come out right then?
I'm gonna call it like I see it when it comes to that situation. And it is, I'm gonna say it the best way I can on this show. So the FCC will let me be. But this is one ginormous male genital region measuring contest. I feel like Aaron Rodgers wants it his way. Packers management wants it that way. They've been jostling for the longest time, especially with coaching, draft picks, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess when Aaron Rodgers made that comment, the Packers because I think a lot of comments when it comes to Aaron Rodgers are tongue in cheek. I think a lot of things that Aaron Rodgers exposes to the media could go without. He probably knew that the Packers were looking to get rid of him. And so as opposed to just discussing it behind closed doors, it became a comment in the media to make it seem like, and the way it happened makes it look like that the staff of the Packers are just going against Aaron Rodgers' wish. Every single time.
Well, but this time also a list came out of who he'd be willing to get traded for. It was like a 3-team list that came out. You know what? I tell you what, I know Packers fans would lose it, but at this point, if you're the GM, say, okay, you know what? Enough of this headache, enough of this drama. Here, Denver, give me 3 number ones. You can have him. And then you're out from under his big contract that they just extended. Or you're out from under the drama, and he's 38 anyway, right? 38, 36, 37, somewhere in there, whatever, upper 30s. Okay, let's just go ahead and start it. We already drafted a quarterback who's been studying us for. Let's go that way, and if it doesn't work out, we start over next year.
Or let's go for a straight up trade with Seattle.
Yeah, but see, Russell Wilson doesn't want to leave Seattle. He was just wanting to chime in because Aaron Rodgers did it first.
So I mean, it's a whole bunch of mess again. Excuse me. But we're talking about.
Bless you.
Oh man, Got a
got
a little choked up. A little choked up.
The disgust of it all has them all choked up. That's what it is. A little choked up.
And so we're talking about Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson during the draft period of time, which is just sad.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but basically, why Aaron Rodgers? Why? I don't know.
I don't know. I think if you're Green Bay and you're the coaching staff and the general manager, it's enough of the drama. I'd be ready to move on at that point if I was them. But
I mean, again, back to the measuring
I would trade him.
contest.
I would trade him for Dak.
Oh.
Here we go. To Dak talk.
Well, I tell y'all what, y'all right now, y'all would want to have Tony Romo back, won't y'all? And that right there should tell you everything.
I'm a Dak fan. I'm a diehard Dacker backer. So anyway, but hey, how about Najee Harris? Huh? Get picked by the Steelers.
Yep, going to the Steelers. I think that's a good pick because with James Conner going to Arizona, they really need to do something to their running game, man. Because their running game, Pittsburgh's running game this past season, putrid at best, if I can say so myself. Yeah, it was quite putrid. So think about it, man.
I think they're going to like him in Pittsburgh. I think he's going to be good for them. But they need a little bit more help with the offensive line. But I think he's going to be a good fit. He's a good kid, man. I think he's going to fit in well with that team.
Yeah, didn't he host a draft party at a homeless shelter where he stayed at one point?
Yeah,
he did.
In California. Yep.
Yeah.
Then they showed
admirable. That's admirable.
Yep. Then they showed that damn highlight he had against the University of South Carolina. I said, yeah, you want to see about Najee Harris? Just watch that where he just nailed somebody and jumped over the guy. And I remember I was watching that game. I was like, I'm gone. I think I went and found my life again because he just did something to me and it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But outside of football, Najee Harris is a great kid, great guy, fellas. We just had a draft. We had a draft. And there were people in the stands, people all over the place, man. It was great to see. I heard
a funny analogy, not to cut you off there, but I heard a funny analogy from Tommy Dreamer, a pro wrestler, where he was talking about Roger Goodell coming on stage, and he said the fans were just booing the heck out of him, and he was acting like a baby face. He said he was out there just trying to yuck it up with the fans and be pleasant and smile and all that stuff and wave. And he brought the other Browns. He brought who do you have out there? Jarvis Landry, Joe Thomas, and they weren't buying it. They're still booing him. He said he should just own it. Be the heel. They're gonna boo you and treat you like a bad guy. Just own it. And he was out there. Hey, there's my chair, and he's Roger Goodell. I can't with him. I just can't.
I got a question for you fellas. Yeah, Roger Goodell is just Roger Goodell. Nobody likes him. But anyway, did y'all notice a trend with the draft though? Did you notice that pro teams are trying to duplicate college success?
How so?
You have the Cincinnati Tigers with their LSU to LSU connection.
Yep.
You got the Jacksonville Tigers with the Clemson to Clemson connection. And you have the Miami and Philadelphia Crimson Tide with the Alabama to Alabama connection with both of them. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of that? Like, NFL is just different to me, but familiarity.
Yeah, I used to think that that would happen more. Like I used to look for that more in years past and just didn't see it. But that trend definitely happened this year. I don't know if it was a coincidence or like in LSU's or the Cincinnati's case with the LSU guys. I think that was definitely, they said, yeah, we know these guys have chemistry, so let's shoot for that. I don't think it's as important in Jacksonville because it's it's not a wide receiver that they did that with. He's I'm sure ETN will catch a ball or two out of the backfield, but to set up Joe Burrow with his number one receiver, and then like you said, they did that with Tua time too. So yeah, that was interesting. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm like you, Scottie. I'm surprised that trend hasn't been going on in years past, but we see it more now. I think familiarity helps a great deal because You know, you got Tua, and then you got his Alabama teammate, and then, you know, you got Joe Burrows and Jamar Chase. And so I guess from a standpoint of a level of trust, you know, if I'm Joe Burrow, hey, look, Jamar, I'm throwing that ball. All you got to do is go get it. I mean, it's already understood. There's no questions need to be asked. So it's just like, okay, I think it's more of a familiarity thing. And, you know, they know like how you know, they can, what they call it is like osmosis. It's like they know what's going on without saying anything. So, you know, Joe and Jamar can give each other that look and blink twice if you're going this way, blink 3 times if you're going that way, and then snap the ball and go, and then Joe put the ball up and it's like, and then it's just, it's just familiarity. Has to be the whole familiarity aspect. And like I said, I'm surprised they hadn't done it, you know, in years past. You know,
I'm gonna tell you why that I don't think that's gonna work out.
Tell us why, live.
I think it's stunning the quarterback's growth. I can tell you right now, Jamar Chase was Joe Burrow's number 1 wide receiver in college. That was his go-to. I guarantee you right now, he shouldn't be his number 1 option. And if he cues into him and zones in on him, zeroes in on him, man, NFL defenses will pick up on that so quickly, it'll make your head spin. Joe Burrow is going to be successful, without question. I think he's going to be successful. Is he going to put up 7,000 yards and 60 touchdowns in a season against NFL defenses? Absolutely not. You are smoking crack if you think that's going to be the case. I think that Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne are both going to have successful NFL careers. Again, Jacksonville made a big jump because they did not have running back issues, but it is what it is. If you try to mold and shape your team around these brand new college players as opposed to the veterans that you already have, you're going to have trouble in the locker room.
Yeah, but it's only one guy, you know. I know. They didn't draft all of the LSU players in Cincinnati, or Miami didn't take all of Tua's weapons. It's one guy. I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. I do. Yeah. I think the guys that they got, they didn't get just because they were teammates. They got them because they were talented. Jamar Chase was the best wide receiver on the board. It just happened that he was Burrow's guy. So I think that one will kind of work out. I do.
Yeah, you both of you have very interesting points. You know, I think it could be detrimental to growth, and the defenses will pick up on that as they always do. And Scottie thinks it's good because, you know, not only because they're probably cool, but they're also, you know, they're top flight level athletes as well too. But I got a question for you, fellas. Guess what time it is?
Well, what time is it? Is it that time already? I'm not sure. All right, I'm not wearing a watch, so I don't know. Please tell us.
I'll tell you what time it is. It's time once again for our favorite segment, the choices of the voices. And man, it's a good one. And with that being said, hey, yo, Button, hit it.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Ms. Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You heard the woman. We've done this 170,000 plus times. Well, actually 107 plus times. This is your favorite section along with ours, the choices of the voices segment, where we ask the question. Y'all give us some answers. We talk about it. We tell you our answers. We kind of go back and forth and pick at each other. If you get a wrong answer, we put you in the penalty box. But understand, it's all love, and it comes from the heart. That's if you can see that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. All right, Scottie, time for enough of my incoherent rambleness. What's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
Well, I was mistaken last week. I called the movie The Mortal Kombat. It's not. I said some things that were incorrect last week. The movie's Mortal Kombat. Anyway, it was the latest Jane Curtin movie. Anyway, that was the one that it came from the video game. So we got on the topic of video games, and that's where we were at. What is your favorite all-time sports video game? That's where we're at. And guys, I got to be honest, I've never been a big gamer, so you're gonna have to help carry me through this segment because we had a lot of answers, a lot of good ones. We're all over the place. Eddie, cool. What did we get through this week's choices of the voices?
Oh, we got a gang of answers on this week's choices of the voices and some good ones because I remember a lot of these games. All right, Aiden Collar, he says, I have to go with ESPN NFL 2K5 on this one. In my opinion, it was revolutionary for its time. Nowadays, you see Man 21 and the NBA games, but 2K5 was one of the greatest of all times. The year it was released, and definitely helped pave the way for modern sports games today. So we got one for ESPN NFL 2K5.
I think I briefly remember that one. I think because ESPN at the time, I think they was. I mean, they've always been the worldwide leader in sports and blah blah blah. And you know how much we really do not endorse that 4-letter network. But this was where they were trying to tap into the video game scene, and it was interesting at best because at the time they had quite a few football games out there. I mean, your Madden franchise, of course, and everything. But I think if I remember correctly, that year ESPN, it was actually pretty good. There was a couple features that they brought into the game that actually Madden picked up on, and of course they were like, "What? You know what? We're gonna try that too." And then they threw in the commentary and stuff like that from ESPN. So it was actually a pretty good game. So I like this answer. Definitely like this answer.
Yeah, I have a story about that one later on. All right. The Magic Man, Mike McCrowski, he said 10-yard fight and Ken Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball. I remember 10-yard fight for Nintendo and the Ken Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball for Super Nintendo.
Okay, because somebody help me out. What is a 10-yard fight?
10-yard fight, it's a Nintendo version of a football game. I don't think they had rights to call it like, NFL football. I guess it's just first to 10 yards and a touchdown, a regular football game. a whole lot of running, pixelations, and dots in the air.
It looks like an upgrade from the little handheld one. Remember the one that had just the dots that you could go up and back? There was no passing. Yep. Was that Mattel? I forget which one that was, but it was white and you could not pass. You could only go up and back. You couldn't go backwards. It's a running back.
Oh my God, that's a throw. Oh my God,
I had that.
Throwback.
Yeah, I knew you talking about the handheld game. I had like a pitfall version of that one. I used to get mad and throw it. I would never win.
10-yard fight was released in 1983.
Woo! Back in my era.
Wow.
Surprised I didn't play this one.
That's why I did not know what that game was, because I was 1 year old. Good Lord. Wow.
Good old 10-yard fight. All right. Sean Connors said RBI baseball. He said thousands of hours on that diamond. Yep. RBI baseball, another classic. Corey Logren, he said Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, yes, sir.
I heard of that one.
Yes.
I heard of that one.
And everybody,
I played that one.
Yes, and everybody played with Bo Jackson.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. I remember Barry Sanders was really fast on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys were unstoppable on that game. All right, so here we go. We got Mike Davis. He says NBA 2K or bass fishing on Dreamcast.
Who plays a fishing video game?
Scottie D.
It's actually not that bad though. I've actually done it. It wasn't on Dreamcast, but it's actually pretty cool. But yeah,
I hate fishing in real life. I'd probably rather play a video game.
Okay, I'm gonna
fishing sucks. Going fishing sucks.
I'm gonna ask Scottie D this question. This is a question for you. Do you consider fishing a sport?
Nah.
So I knew I had a feeling he was going to be jaded with that question.
Hey, no. you better hope Bill Dance don't come for you behind. You better be talking about me fishing. Boy, I go fishing. Ew, I hunt fish. All right, so moving right along, we got Rodney. What's going on, Rodney? Rodney said, "Ooh, man," he gave us a list. He said, "Great question. I had to make a small list." All right, he said, "Old school, Tecmo Bowl. Be Live, you'll like this one. WCW versus NWO Revenge for Nintendo 64 with 4 controllers and a room full of buddies. Always a good time. The modern era, we got college football games. You know, they ain't no telling which one. They're all were pretty good, if you ask me. And he said he's hyped that they're bringing it back. NFL Street was really good, and the old Tiger Woods games with 4 players was good as well too. So he gave us Tecmo Bowl, WCW NWO Revenge, the college football series, the NCAA college football series, and NFL Street and the old Tiger Woods games. He gave us a list. All of them good choices, great choices.
And just to clarify, when he was talking about college football, he's talking about EA Sports. It's in the game. In NCAA college football, that video game is legit. And when I tell you that this whole name, likeness, and image thing, oh my goodness, it took away the greatest video game, especially football video game. I 100% agree with Hot Rod with this with NCAA college football. And I had to clarify that. And Tiger Woods, Sunday Tiger with the red polo.
Yes, sir.
All stats 105. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. And I didn't play with Sunday Tiger for that very reason, because I felt like we were cheating. You were cheating playing with Sunday Tiger. Come on. 105 everything. Come on now. Tiger Woods, you good. You good. You really, really good. That's borderline narcissism when you just when all the stats are 105 and nobody else can have stats above 100. Oh my goodness. But yeah, good answers from Hot Rod.
All right, we got Matty Ice Martin Tracy. He says NBA Jam. Who don't love that? I'm on fire mode. He's heating up.
He's on fire.
Boom, shakalaka. Please don't sue us. Please don't sue us. We just had some real nostalgic moments there, man. Yeah, man. NBA Jam was just that. The damn jam. You can't argue with that, man.
Jumping from half court and dunking the ball after 15 flips.
Who picked this one?
Matty Ice.
Oh, Matty Ice. Okay.
Yeah, Matty Ice picked that one, man. Good old NBA Jam, man. You cannot go wrong with NBA Jam. The Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max, he says Super Tecmo Bowl. Yes, Super Tecmo Bowl, another classic. And if you had Bo Jackson still, you would get ran the hell over as well, too. All right. We got Frank Glidden. He said Double Dribble and Skate or Die. It was a tie. Yeah, man. Those are 2 iconic classics for Nintendo, man. Double Dribble and Skate or Die. Yeah, love that one. Love that one.
I'll ask Scottie D. Is skating a sport?
It's closer than fishing is. I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Skateboarding, yeah, I'll give that.
All right, so fishing, no. Skateboarding, yes. Heard. Holla at your boy. All right, the big boss man, Bruce Diamond, says track and field for the old Nintendo Entertainment System.
I told him no because he's been watching soccer lately, and I said you have to pick a FIFA game. But track and field, is that when you had like you had to hit the thing to make your guy run faster?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken,
tearing your whole fingers up.
Yeah.
Mama.
I do remember that one. Yeah.
Hey, having a crab all in your hand, throwing up gang signs after playing it.
hey, you remember the power pad that they had that you could plug into it and you would run like that? Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I would say this, man. Nintendo had a lot of accessories, man, between the pad, the zapper, the glove, all that stuff, man. Nintendo just had all kind of accessories.
They still do.
Yeah.
with the Wii, they got all kinds of things going on. Nintendo still doing it.
11 years later. Terrible. Pete Talansky says NHL 94. Jeremy Roenick was unstoppable. And he gave us a link to check out the unstoppable one that is Jeremy Roenick, who's from Massachusetts, by the way. Yes, American hockey player.
Bob Williams echoed this answer, and he said that was the last year with the head wounds. Now, I remember watching was it Swingers, the movie with Vince Vaughn, where they would go to Vegas and they're sitting in the living room, they're playing, and they made Gretzky's head bleed. Is that this game? Is that what we're talking about here?
I think so. I think so because I think NHL 94 had fighting because I remember playing NHL 95 and there was no fighting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then maybe it was a new regime. Maybe they went from the Attitude Era to the PG era on NHL 94 to 95. But I remember that specifically in that video or in the movie Swingers, where the guys are sitting around they're waiting for pizza to be delivered and they're smoking weed playing a hockey game. And I remember he's like, I'm going to make Gretzky bleed. And you can see the blood come out of his head. I think that's what that was.
Yeah. And
I'm not an expert, so
Google has confirmed that, yes, that was NHL 94 that was played in that movie.
Okay, cool. All right. That's what I was wondering. Nice.
Yep.
Good thumbs up to our research team there.
Yeah. Shout out to the research team. Yeah, man. I bet he had a Bob Probert and he was like, bust your head, Gretzky. Holla at your boy. Joel Turner, another one for RBI baseball and the basic Nintendo golf. He said where 58 was just a good round. Yeah, trying to hit a little white speck of pretzel salt. Yeah, have fun with that. But it was a good game though. Yeah, as you said, Scottie D, Bob Williams. He also said NHL 94 where you can be a head buster for real. Damon Benko, he said double dribble as well too. So we got another one for double dribble. Sean Massengill, what's up, Big Slam? He said WCW NWO on Nintendo 64. So we got two for the wrestling games. I'm telling you, man, THQ used to make some hell of fine WWE games and WCW games in back in the day, which means they're pretty much like this thing about you had two rival companies, but they consulted their resources all to one company to make different video games, but look the same. The one thing that was different was the movesets and the likenesses. So yeah, I mean, some of you guys might remember Aki Man or AKI Man, the random ass creative player who looked like Servo from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, but I digress. In the words of the Almighty Be Live. All right, here we go. We got Trey Dizzle. Save the best for last. Oh yeah, you know how we do it. He said this is a really tough one. NFL Blitz was super fun. NBA Jam, NFL 2K, Madden is the staple. Then you got Tecmo Bowl, Game Day Football for PlayStation 1 was really fun. Ken Griffey Baseball, NBA 2K, the Nintendo hockey game with the skinny, medium, and fat guy was classic. And Joe Montana football on Sega was great too. But I have to say, out of all those great games, Dak Prescott sucks.
Oh my God. Oh, I almost want a guest appearance. I almost want a guest appearance on the show for him just to take the moment. I want him just to come on the show one day and just take a moment and let all of our listeners know how much he dislikes Dak Prescott. I would love that. Just saying.
When we start getting into NFL preseason time, we may have to look into that. Trey, you're on our guest list, buddy.
Trey Dizzle, stay ready, baby. That way you ain't got to get ready because we coming for you real soon. I think you might have to compile a top 10 list of why you dislike Dak Prescott. So we got a fully loaded edition of the Choices of the Voices. With that being said,
there's one other one on there that I actually really liked. Craig Burns.
Oh,
Craig Burns went with Pong.
Yes.
So wait a minute.
That was in my wheelhouse. Pong was in my wheelhouse.
Oh, so ho, stop, cut, quit it. As much as you talk about stuff that isn't sports, we've talked about bowling, we've talked about fishing, talked about skateboard. Pong? That's a sport. No, you do not. You are not allowed.
This video game set the table for these others to come through.
Oh my Lord, man, you is something.
You just had to turn the dial up and down. And walk the little ball from come. I mean, that was in my wheelhouse. When you started getting into, you had like the triangles on one of those systems, the square and the triangle and a circle, and then more buttons on top. Man, how you keep track of all that? I just couldn't do it.
Shit. When I tell you none of us can, I'll be watching some of these video game competitions, especially the fighting video games like Street Fighter or whatever, where they actually have a full on like arcade pad and everything. And I'm just like, yo, y'all doing the most. But these video game competitions pay top dollar. Like, it's ridiculous how much money people make playing video games. But yeah, when it comes to what I think when it comes to video games, I am going to agree with Trey Dizzle, because I was waiting on somebody to give this answer. And it's NFL Blitz.
Ooh.
God, when I tell you, like, just no, it was like no rules, no penalties. You just bust somebody's head open, and it just it was just one of those games. Like, it was just like, I'm going to, after this show, I'm going to find a way to download it to my PS4, and my PS4 is collecting dust right now because I have not played it at all. But now I really want to play it again, because I didn't even, like, when this question came up, I'm like, man, you know what? I have not even played a video game in forever. And I'm going to say this on the air, and this is me digressing a little bit. Why can I not find Oregon Trail to play? I want to play Oregon Trail, and I've been looking for years, and I get like nobody's remade it or anything. Like, I would have figured somebody would have remade this game.
It's not out there anywhere, really? That's surprising.
There's this new Fandango like app. Is Oregon Trail some other somewhere, like you're building houses and other. I don't care for all of that. No, I want somebody to die from dysentery. That's what I want. I want to shoot 20 buffalo and only can carry 200 pounds of meat back. That's what I want to do. Can I do that, please? Can somebody? Well, you know what? I got enough technical savvy. No, I don't. I can't create video games. I could study it, figure it out. But you know what? Yeah. But I digress. But yeah, NFL Blitz. And I'm gonna throw a little 1B, and just actually shout out to Sean and Hot Rod back in North Myrtle Beach, and it made me upset when they got rid of the game. But the Tiger Woods arcade game, not the video. I'm talking about the arcade game with the trackball that I didn't stumble, I didn't stub my finger, broke fingers and wrists trying to freaking be in there drunk, trying to hit the ball as hard as I can, and we just haven't. We're betting dollars on longest drive and this and that. But yeah, Tiger Woods, and now they replaced it with Golden Tee. And then I don't know if Golden Tee is still a thing. I haven't seen it in a while.
Golden Tee is the greatest video game sports of all time. And that's my answer. And all these North Myrtle Beach people, nobody picked that. And you know, I used to see all these dudes at bars in the early 2000s, and everybody was over there taking turns, flicking the ball with thumbs or pounding it as far as you can and pulling back a 3 that way, hitting driver onto the green with a backspin.
Oh yeah, it was some serious business, man.
It is the greatest game ever. It's the greatest sports game, and nobody. They are wrong. All these games are wrong. Golden Tee is the correct answer to this question.
Oh man, that was because that's what I was going to mention, because nobody mentioned the arcade game, and
that is the greatest. That is greatest.
I like Tiger Woods more than I like Golden Tee, because I felt like Tiger Woods was more realistic. But yeah, like just like you said, Scottie D, that was a thing. There was
everybody was playing it. Everybody.
It was.
And if you couldn't get in, you couldn't wait for 20 minutes to be up, so you get another shot at it.
Right.
So somebody else would be too drunk and have to leave. Then you get your chance.
It's my turn. Hold my breath. I done seen plenty of nice people toe blasted. I wonder how many. You know what? I've never seen a cabinet video game console take so much abuse. Almost got you, live. I'm sorry. I've never seen a cabinet take so much abuse. I mean, like,
whoo, you almost got me. Oh, I almost spit all over the camera and my mic. Oh, yes. You ain't never, ever lied about that.
And sometimes I'll be standing there like, is that serious? That's serious? That's it. Oh. And just I wonder if the fiberglass on the damn screen was thick, because it would be like,
yeah,
jarring, stuff falling. It would be just catastrophic. And I'm like, man, I wonder what's the like insurance policy on this doggone thing, man, because that screen is taking a lot of abuse.
Yeah,
man. When I tell you that, I also back in those days, I used to bowl a lot too, and there was a couple of times because I was in there just going ham on it and freaking sprain my wrist and freaking stub my finger. Next thing you know, I'm out of a week of bowling because I got the going on.
You remember there's actually a bowling game that was the same as the Silver Strike. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
Wasn't that called Silver Strike? Yeah.
Screw that game. Anyway, dude, I hated that game. I hated it so bad because
that game was hot for a while.
Because I'm a bowler. I'm not playing. I never liked playing bowling video games because I was an actual bowler. So you know, I bowl better in real life than I do on that video game. Let me put it that way. If that shows you how I feel about Silver Strike. But yeah, Scottie D, you hit the nail on the head, and I was alluding to it. But yeah, how
Golden Tee was the best. I loved it. I think it's still going strong. I mean, I haven't been to a drinking establishment since well before COVID, but I think it's still because they kept updating it, putting out newer and harder courses every year, and ridiculous things where you could do with the golf ball. It was awesome. Loved it.
I'm sorry, but that was the reason why I like Tiger Woods more. Because it was real.
It was more reality based. Yeah.
It was a real golf course. You played Sawgrass. You played 17 at Sawgrass on that game. So that was the reason why.
I used to have a game, and I don't remember what gaming. I think it was Sega Genesis. I may have had at one point where they had a Pebble Beach golf, and the thing would fill like halfway through, and you'd have to try to stop it in the middle and to make your putts or your swing. And if you missed it wrong, the ball would slice, that kind of thing. Yeah. I didn't like playing golf with the hand control, but I sure did like pulling that ball back and letting it sail. How about you, Eddie? Cool.
I have a list as well too, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, wow. Fellas, you know what caught me off guard? No one mentioned the Mike Tyson punch out.
No, and I had that pictured on our page too. Nobody did say that one.
Well, with that being said, I liked Mike Tyson punch out, but my game was Fight Night. Was the EA Sports Fight Night where they had everybody, and it was just of course I created me a fight, and I was just blowing through everybody. I won like hands of stone like 5 years in a row. I was just in it just Berlanger and people just a half a round. That would be it. The Fight Night series of games, it was pretty dope too. The one that had Roy Jones Jr. on the front cover. The soundtrack was also great as well too. I will also have to say ESPN NFL 2K5, the story that I was alluding to. There was one night back in 2004, myself, the Almighty B Live, and our big brother JR, shout out to JR. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings right in North Myrtle Beach. Now, if you know how the area is designed, you have the Buffalo Wild Wings right here in that plaza, the Chick-fil-A, everything else, and then the Walmart way over there. So I guess me and, brother JR, we were kind of on a drunken stupor, and it was a slow night. And I was like, and we saw his commercial with Terrell Owens and the football game, and I saw the price. The price said $19.95, and I went from this to $19.95. I said, JR, we got to go get that game. So I think all three of us stumbled our way to Walmart, purchased the game, and I think I stayed up until like 4 o'clock playing the game. Because I'm not going to lie, I used to get destroyed in Madden, but I kind of had to even the playing field when it came to the football games. Growing up, I was also a fan of hockey, so I would have to say ESPN National Hockey Night, and also NHL 95, the year where you couldn't bust Wayne Gretzky's head to the white meat. Both those hockey games were fun as well too. Also, WWE No Mercy. Yeah, it was just a great game. One of my favorite parts was you would play as Too Cool, and they would do the whole dance routine and all that, and it was great as well too. Me and my niece love playing that. Shout out to my niece. And the NBA and NFL versions of the streets, like NFL Street and NBA Street. Wow, those games were ahead of their times. I've owned Street 1 and Street 2, and still to this day on Street 1, I have not beat the NFC East Conference. Don't know why. It was tough as hell. I forgot who was on the teams at the time, but it was tough. And the NBA Streets, it was just the salt and pepper, the shake and bake, and all this other stuff. It was street ball at its highest level on a video game platform. They came out with another street basketball, but it wasn't nothing like NBA Streets, because you couldn't play as Michael Jordan on, that other knockoff game. But yeah, that's it. The Street Series of the NBA and NFL, ESPN 2K5, great football game. It was cheap, but it was a great one. ESPN National Hockey Night, NHL 1995, and WWE No Mercy. Yep. And before we get up out of here and get the question for next week's Choice of the Voices, shout out to Aiden, Sean Connors, Corey, Mike Davis, Rodney Bellamy, Martin Tracy, Uncle Max, Frank Glidden, the big boss man Bruce Diamond, Terrible Pete Talansky, Joel Turner, Bobby Williams, Damon Benko, Big Sean Massengill, and Trey Dizzle for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. Scottie D, I'm out of breath. What's the question? Choices of the Voices.
Well, it's going to be hard to top this week because this was a lot of people went down memory lane pulling out the old video games. But we are going to go back into real sports and ask, name one of or your very favorite sports tradition. Let's do it this way. Give us one that's personal, something like maybe you and your friends when you were younger played the turkey bowl, backyard game for Thanksgiving, or maybe you and some friends take a spring training trip every year, or just maybe getting together with the boys having wings on Sunday at overtime. That could be a good tradition. Give us one of your personal traditions, as well as, sorry about the overtime reference, as well as like an organized tradition, like Iowa does the Kinnick Wave, or mint juleps on Kentucky Derby, or the Masters. Pretty much everything in the Masters is tradition. You get the dinner, the green jacket, the hole-in-one contest, all that stuff. The old guys tee off on the first hole. There's an endless list of traditions in sports. So give us one of your personal ones, something that you guys like to do, and give us one that is part of organized sports, pro, college, whatever. And that should give us a little something to talk about next week, Mr. Eddy Cool.
A little bit of meat on the bone, if you will. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Choices of the Voices.
Golden tea, baby.
Yep, golden tea. Just breaking stuff. Go ahead, be live.
As a side note, I may or may not have won the Heisman quite a few times. Creative player in NCAA college football. I've won plenty of Heismans and national championships because I made sure that I mainly played as a wide receiver. Not even gonna lie to you. And so I broke all the records. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Yeah, and like I said, I've won like 9 different heavyweight titles in 10 different years. The Hands of Stone title 5-6 years in a row. Of course, you soup up your stats. Let's see, when I was on NFL 2K5, I had like 5 straight years as a receiving tight end of 1,000 yards. And what was the last one? I won a couple Hart trophies and about 4 or 5 Stanley Cups, but
Well, I won a couple beers playing Golden Tea. So there.
Hey, couple beers playing Golden Tea. Nothing wrong with that. All right, enough of our shameless gloating. See you next week for the Choices of the Voices.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
Yep, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get the hell up out of here. And with that being said, it's time for another edition of Pepper. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you can see, but we got B Live over here researching notes, and we got Scottie D doing the conga chonga. I don't know what he's doing, but he's happy. as he can be. All right. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style, kind of, sort of, not really, to enlighten, entertain, and all that stuff. Scottie D is you got to either Scottie D is unloosening a wedgie or doing the cabbage patch.
I think he was doing a shimmy.
The shimmy.
I think he was doing a shimmy.
The shimmy shake, baby.
The money man shimmy. The money man shimmy. Or what's it? Antoine Walker. Anyways, we over here.
I swear that was
some pepper. Let's have some
that
pepper.
Was the most. We digress.
Yeah, we digress. We get a little slap happy. All right. And my first topic will be about the Cincinnati Red Stockings. All right. Of course, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I like giving you guys a little bit of history lesson. And with that being said, on this day back in 1869, the Cincinnati Reds, formerly known as the Red Stockings, played their first professional baseball game versus the Great Western Baseball Club. The Reds win. Y'all ready for this one? Are you ready for the score?
I'm ready.
Got for us
45-9.
Stop it.
I'm not lying. I wish I could make this up because before we start this segment, I had to go do some research. All right, so here we go. It says on Wikipedia, of course, which, you know, grain of salt. But anyways, the professional Cincinnati Red Stockings played the first game on May 4th, 1869, with a 45-9 win over the Great Westerns of Cincinnati. That team, the Red Stockings, won 57 games and lost 0. They didn't lose a single damn game. Yeah. Only counting matches with association clubs. That was for Major League Baseball. They played over 60 games, counting outside teams. Their commercial tour of the Continental Scope, visiting both Boston and San Francisco, was unprecedented and may be essentially unrepeated. So they were traveling. They pretty much like the first ever traveling team. The first season ended on November 6th at home, with the Cincinnatis beating the Mutuals of New York 17-8. The
Mutuals.
Yeah. So nobody just played defenses. This is what's going on. We be blowing people out of the building. This is crazy. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right. So the NHL season is winding down. Congratulations, boys. The Hurricanes are in first place with 74 points as of Monday night. That is the most in the NHL. Vegas out west, 1 point less, 74. They're leading their division. The Maple Leafs leading the North with 71 points. And after going to Washington for 2 games and winning them both, your Pittsburgh Penguins are in first place in the East. Here we come, baby. I think NHL playoffs come up on. I'm going to pick the Penguins to win the Stanley Cup. Be live, over to you.
Wow. So the Penguins are leading. You said they're leading their division, right? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So make sure. Just gonna pull up real quick. Just want to make sure to confirm who's leading the entire national.
I just told you. You don't have to look it up. I just told you. It's the Canes. They have 75 points. They have the most.
I just want to
Penguins
emphasize
have 71.
that.
They have 71. They'll probably have the most by the very end. Probably. They'll probably win the Stanley Cup.
We'll see the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, that would be very interesting. The Hurricanes.
Yeah, I like the Penguins to win that series. Be live, over to you.
Oh, woo! All right.
I like the Penguins. I like the Penguins to win it all. Be live, over to you.
Oh, this son of a oh boy! All right, so let me bring it back. Bring it back. Get ready for this storm surge. I'm telling you that right. All right. Well, on the heels of the NFL draft, you featuring 256 college players getting a chance to come up to the pros. We already know it was overshadowed by one Aaron Rodgers, but yet there was someone else that they decided that this was their opportunity to shine. With the Jacksonville Jaguars picking up Trevor Lawrence as the number 1 draft pick, and his upside and everything. Another former college football quarterback standout decided that he might want to come back and rejoin the NFL by the tunes of one Tim Tebow.
Oh, Lord.
But here's the kicker. Why would Tim Tebow want to rejoin? He wants to join the Jaguars. Let me also put that there. He wants to join the Jaguars. But wait, they have their quarterback. They have their franchise quarterback. So why would the former Heisman quarterback want to join the Jaguars?
Why would he do that, B-Live?
Because finally, after all this time, and everybody telling him that he would be better suited in another position because of his accuracy woes as quarterback, you would make a better tight end. You'd have a career as a tight end. This would be a better fit for you. You should be a tight end. And he was bullheaded at the time and stuck with being a very mediocre quarterback. He chooses now to switch over. And now he wants to be a tight end for the Jaguars. Tim Tebow, I love your stance and what you believe in and all the good that you brought to this world. But because of this boneheaded move and the timing of it all, Tim Tebow, penalty box, cut it out. I cannot believe that you chose now to want to switch over to tight end. And just, yeah, Eddy cool, just the ball.
I bet it'd be good on Jeopardy.
Jesus Lord. Oh.
Hey, AEW, if you're looking for a new tag team, I got a concept for you. It's called the Thunder Steelers. And they consist of Aaron Rodgers and Tim. I'm trying to come back as tight end. Tebow. Yes, I said it. The Thunder Steelers. Moving on with my second pepper point. The NFL draft, as B-Live mentioned, concluded this weekend. And of course, everybody was getting drafted, even long snappers. Yeah, that's right. Not one, but two long snappers got drafted this year. The first one was Thomas Fletcher, right? And the reaction of Thomas Fletcher was very funny. He got a call from Panthers head coach Matt Rule. He said, "Hey man, you ready?" And Thomas Fletcher looked at I don't know about that. He's like, "No, you've been drafted." He's like, "Are you serious?" Yes. It's like, oh my God, it was, he cussed a little bit, but it was happy cussing. See, cussing ain't bad. Sometimes you happy cuss. So he would do some happy cuss. Yeah, it was bleepity bleep bleep bleep, expletives and exaltations. Shout out to the legendary Doc Emmerich for that word. And so he got on the phone with Panthers with David Tepper. He said, "Hey man, are you ready to come to Carolina?" He said, I'm gonna help y'all win some games, man." And he said, and I quote, "I will walk my happy ass to Carolina right now."
Happy cussing.
Happy cussing.
The man's enthusiastic. And the other long snapper that got drafted was Cameron Cheeseman from the University of Michigan. And he goes Joey Buckets, Joe Gaffigan's Washington Football Admirals football team, FC United DC, F-Lo, Bleelo. Over to you.
Hey, Scottie D, this is your time to shine. Let them know something. Put some pepper on it.
I'm sorry, over to you, Scottie D.
All right, so to baseball, Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets in the month of April had 5 starts and posted a 0.51 ERA, 59 strikeouts to 4 walks, and he had 3 straight starts with 14 Ks. In 2 separate games, one last week against Boston and on April 10th against the Marlins, he allowed a single run and lost both times. He's allowed 2 runs this season and lost twice. Mets lineup is anemic right now. I think Pete Alonso has the highest average with like a 259. Francisco Lindor can't even get to 200 yet. Early, but guys, do better. This dude, he's trying to win a Cy Young. Do better, Mets. Be live. Over to you.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, but then again, it is it's the NL East right now, and none of the teams really want to do right at all. Like the Mets are still leading the division with a 500 record. So if that tells you what's going on
he needs run support though. They got to get this dude some run support.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They got to get him that, man, because he can't be out there just like throwing straight gas and then like losing games by one run and stuff. It's ridiculous.
No.
Oh my goodness. Look, just a quick little research just to back you up. The Mets have the least runs scored in all of baseball.
And they lead the division.
They're one of 3 teams that haven't even scored 100 runs, and they're not even close.
Ugh.
They've scored 71 runs. They've only allowed 83. So they're the only team there's one other team that's allowed less than 90 runs. They're one of them. And so, but yeah,
do better.
The Mets could be doing a lot. They could be doing a lot better if they score some runs.
Yep.
But yeah, so back to what I was talking about, because we really don't care about what Scottie D has to say and Storm Surge. Let's go. I'm gonna take this opportunity because we are Sports Bros by the fan for the fan. When something's brought to our attention from one of our listeners, one of our viewers, you know what? I want to include it on the show. So terrible Pete Talansky brought it to our attention when it comes to the NFL draft that in the past 16 years, there have been 3 schools that have had a draft pick in the first 3 rounds. In the past 16 years straight, there's 3 schools that have had a player drafted in the first 3 rounds. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. Alabama, not one of them.
Oh.
Clemson, not one of them. Ohio State, not one of them. Oklahoma, not one of them. The 3 schools that have had a draft pick in the first 3 rounds the past 16 years are the likes of LSU, the University of Southern California, and I'm going to do it for him. We are Penn State. Wow. So I was like, that is, you know what? That's a little bit to brag about. And speaking of the last time Penn State has not had a draft pick in the first 3 rounds, back in the 2005 draft, which had the likes of the now retired Alex Smith being picked number 1. That was the same draft year that Aaron Rodgers was picked in the first round. And just a couple other stats that 3 running backs were picked in the top 5 of this draft. So how everything has changed. The 3 running backs at the time, Ronnie Brown went to the Dolphins, number 2. Cedric Benson went to the Chicago Bears at number 4. And Cadillac Williams went to the Buccaneers at number 5 pick. So that was the last time Penn State did not have a first 3 rounds draft pick. So shout out
to be winning more championships with all those draft picks, huh?
You would think, but yeah. With that being said, we are the Sports Bros. Eddie Cool, the ball.
Nice.
That be us, and us is we. All right. With that being said, my third and final pepper point, I want to say happy birthday to the one, the only Rory McIlroy. On this day in history, he was born. He got to see his mama, his daddy, and some other people. Yes, he did. A little quick reminder: he's a 2011 U.S. Open winner, 2014 British Open winner, the PGA Championship in 2012 and 2014, and the FedEx Cup in 2016 and 2019. Happy birthday to Rory McIlroy. Over to you, Scottie D.
Still looking for that green jacket, though.
Yep.
All right. This past Saturday, the Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby went down. Medina Spirit was the winner, Funky Cold Medina. And that was the 7th win for trainer Bob Baffert. That's the most. Bob Baffert, he's like the Tom Brady now of the horse racing era. And jockey John Velasquez won his 4th.
Afterwards, he said he was very happy to win yet another Kentucky Derby.
Because every jockey talks like that. Either every jockey talks like that or the same jockey has won every year since I've been born. Anyway, congratulations to Bob Baffert and Funky Cold Medina Spirit for winning the Run for the Roses.
Be-Live, over to you.
Where do they create these jockeys at, though? Because they're all 5'1".
They come from Oz.
They're 5'1", 100 pounds, soaking wet with work boots on. Every single one. I'm like, what? They are they genetically manufactured? But hey, I'm just saying.
I think Nike makes them. Nike pumps them.
Dry fit jockeys. Yeah.
But so with my third and final pepper point, I'm gonna take this opportunity to give a quick shout out to a couple fans out there that are big LA Laker fans. You know, I gotta go ahead and just put that out there. One, Scott Donnelly.
Nope.
And but this one especially goes to the LeBron lover himself, Tim Livingston, because Scottie D wants to make sure that the world knows that he is not a LeBron fan; he's a Lakers fan.
Yes.
So I'll give you this much. But as it sits right now, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers are tied for the 6th spot in the Western Conference. Why is that significant? It's because with the rule change this year, there's actually going to be a play-in tournament for the final 2 seeds, the 7th and 8th seed. So the play-in tournament will feature the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th ranked teams. So LeBron James last year, when they were setting up the whole COVID and the protocol and everything got going on, he was a fan if you were in striking distance of the playoffs. Yeah, they should be able to play it out. They should be able to fight it out and everything. Because at the time, the Lakers were sitting nice and pretty, ain't have to worry about making the playoffs.
Hey, B-Live, should I do it in typical SpongeBob fashion? 1 year later.
Now, because they're almost on the outside looking in, and now they have to play maybe a possible couple more games, and could eventually might be sitting at the house. LeBron James has changed course and says, whoever came up with this play-in idea should be fired. LeBron James, why the change? What? As I would like to say, LeBron, what happened? What happened? Now you were a fan of it last year when you didn't have to worry about it. This year, now you got to play a couple extra games, and you're not allowed to do that because everything that you say can and will be held against you in the court of the SportsBros. So we're gonna bring up, like, you know how people like to say don't be bringing up old stuff. We're gonna be bringing up old stuff, bro. You can't be doing that. You gotta.
His ankle hurts.
You gotta do better, and y'all better get it together because y'all could be sitting on the outside looking in after this whole playoff situation. Because just saying, anything can happen. Do not sleep on Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors.
It was on fire,
and I'm telling you, that would be very intriguing. You got right now San Antonio is at the 10th spot, so it'll probably be if Portland were to jump the Lakers, it would be Lakers versus the Spurs. But that could change because the Spurs only have a game. Anything can happen. LeBron James, do better and put some stank on it. Yes, sir.
I like the Penguins winning the Stanley Cup. Be live, over to you.
Storm Surge coming at you.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, it's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast. But before we go, you guys got any parting words before we go out of here and watch this episode of Monday Night Raw?
Penguins going to the Stanley
do something
Cup.
nice. Do something nice.
Over to you, Scottie D.
Do something nice for yourself.
Okay, Scotty. I can take a hint. Like I told a lady the other day, I can take the hint, ma'am. Check us out. I
was just trying it out. That's all.
Hey, man, you never know. Check us out on all of our Sports Bros related platforms. You can check us out on the Sports Bros podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Look in the description box. That's where you'll find us at, okay? All over the place. And shout out to everybody that's joined the Sports Bros family, because just like families in real life, we're going to keep growing. We love you and thank you. Shout out to our day one listeners and our viewers on YouTube. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. And if you can, do something nice for someone else. They will greatly appreciate it now more than ever. All right? Take care of each other. May is Mental Health Month. Show some love, and we're getting ready to fade up out of here. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros podcast.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
I hate you. Yes, sir.